may have gone on to glory. Lay out in the shade. That's all I wanna do. Find myself a cave and get lost in there with you. I don't care to wait. I just gotta get next to you. Let us find a place and do what we gotta do.
Black. We are acting while black.
I'm just acting, nigga.
Yes, we are acting while black.
Say, motherfucker, it's acting while black.
Stay off the folks.
Acting while black.
I get kind of antsy when people ask me about doing theater because of that, because I'm like, man, I love theater, I love this shit, but I'm also not trying to lose my film career for a play, because it's not like in the southern region, it's not like we getting Broadway, you know what I mean, prices and Broadway freaking pay. You talking about
Broadway accolades.
Or even Broadway accolades.
Because like here, how often have you got cast? So actually, yeah, objectively, how often have you got cast for film from theater?
Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Fair enough.
Like what?
Because like that's some shit that happen all the time in New York.
Really?
Casting go to theater to see who's gonna be in their next film.
That's not the culture here in the South, though. And I wish it
you know
was.
So here's how you change it: invite casters to your shows and just keep inviting. If all 6, 7 of them, whoever it is, because it ain't nothing but 6, 7 of them.
Right here.
Yeah, you know, every like big markets, you got in the hundreds, you know. But here it's 6. Like we know them they know us by first name.
And that is a beauty about being like. That's one thing I will say is cool about the South. Oh man, we already getting started talking, but still, fuck it. But it's like one of those things of like when I went to LA to try to get a manager. One of the main things that they were excited about was that I was able to get so many credits. And I always try to tell people like, bro, to start your career in the South is a good look.
Well, any small satellite market, because you can go to the South, you can go to Vancouver.
Oh, I hear Canada's amazing.
Yeah, Canada's amazing.
Yeah, like they get it in like low key. People don't even realize how much they get it in on film.
Yeah. Well, they were doing it before Wilmington. You know, Wilmington's like old school, like Wilmington, North Carolina. Like,
oh yeah, but they something happened with their tax credits, just like New Orleans, right?
Yeah, they fucked them up and they bringing them back or whatever. But who knows if it's gonna work? But it was Vancouver before Wilmington. Vancouver fucked they shit up first and brought it back and came back bigger. They've already been through the whole cycle, you know? And then you have all these other markets that was trying to pop up. Ohio was trying to do something.
I didn't know
Michigan
that.
was trying to do something.
Didn't know
Florida
that.
had something.
Florida, yeah. Florida and Chicago seem like they've always been on these like weird outskirts of love from Hollywood.
Well, Chicago is where you go to do improv and theater. Mm-hmm. Like you can get discovered for doing improv and theater in Chicago because it's like a rich history. It's a motherfucking play called Chicago.
Yep.
I mean, you can't get no more telling than that.
Right.
You know, when you think about things in those terms, like okay, Chicago's a big market, but it's not like a straight film market. It's a theater market. So like if you're trying to work the comedy market, if you're trying to blow your comedy shit up, you know, yeah, fine, do it. You know.
I didn't know that you schooling me right now because I didn't know that. Hold up. I didn't know that Chicago was had a comedy market. Though. I didn't.
Bruh,
I knew about the theater. They really good.
Olympics. Second City.
I have heard. I heard Second City.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Both of them are Chicago.
Yeah, because like a lot of them. You're right, but yeah, come to think of it, I've heard that one in particular come up a lot when comedians get to talking about how they came up, or even comedic actors when they talk about how they came up.
Dude, that's motherfucking. So New York, LA, and Chicago are big in improv. So New York has UCB and Pitt, and then they have like all the other stuff. But those are like they big shining beacons, right? Chicago has I.O. and Second City, and I mean like rich history, you know. And then you have L.A. with Groundlings.
Yeah.
And Groundlings also has a UCB and a Second City. You know.
So Second City is in more than one spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not as good.
I can believe you.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
Just like UCB, like when people tell you that they went to UCB, like which one? Like the LA or the good one?
What does UCB stand for?
Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh, okay. I did not. Okay, yeah.
So they had a show and everything. Second City had a show. Eugene Levy, John Candy, Rick Moranis. I think Steve Martin came from there. But Canadians. Canada came down. They started doing their shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big improv scene in Canada. It's a big improv scene in Australia. I didn't know that shit.
Wait, what?
I don't know anybody out of there, but
It's a talk. It's like,
well, it's something called a Del Close Marathon. It's a full weekend, I think, where it's like 24/7 improv.
shit.
People come from around the world, and last year Australia showed the fuck up.
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia. What the? Foster's. Australian for beer.
Bruh, I don't know what is wrong with my accents just escape shut. It's either I'm speaking general American or I'm slipping into Southern. That's all I got. And maybe I haven't put forth the effort that I need to. You know, maybe I haven't seen the right people or tried the right shit, but man.
I mean, I have a problem with certain, like, to me, when you're talking accents, especially with audition work,
Yeah.
I think the smartest way, especially if you don't feel like you have a great grasp on it, is to hint that motherfucker. You know, you remember what that movie said, like, don't go full retard? You know what I mean? If there's accent that I know I'm not that good at, I'll throw hint, if I can, I'll throw hints to like a Jamaican accent. I'm not like the best at Jamaican accents, but I can trick you to thinking so. Right now I'm in a play and I'm playing an African person. Now I'm a bit more comfortable with it. Now I've been doing it for a couple of weeks, but at first I had the same thing of fuck accents, because it almost seems like mentally it's another hurdle in your head on top of.
So you ever heard of the international phonetic? Was it International Phonetic Dictionary? Not dictionary. It's basically they map the tongue and tongue placement and inflection, emphasis, like these accents making these sounds that all like the only sounds the human mouth can make, right?
Yeah.
They have that all mapped out, and so. These are where those accents fall. These are the things that you physically, mechanically do to make these sounds. And once you learn that, then you can technically learn accents, right? I mean, and that's a completely different thing than going to a place, immersing yourself in the culture, and just learn that shit.
And let it come natural too.
But if you have a technical proficiency in that, not even the language, but just the accent,
Or in fixing your brain to take on accents.
well, that's the start. I think it's like learning.
No, I was just like saying what you saying, the technical proficiency.
Yeah.
Some people have that mental capacity, and others, well, I guess others don't, but others aren't as good at it.
Yeah.
As others just seem to be so natural
You
at
ever
it.
heard of Fred Armisen?
I know the name.
Saturday Night Live. He Portlandia. That's his joint, right? And he has a show. He like a stand-up show that he's doing. But it's like a stand-up for musicians where others can come, something like that. He came here. We went and saw a little bit of it. The thing about Fred Armisen, he's like a genius with accents. I've seen him a number of times on different shows, and he'll map out. He'll like tell you. He'll describe in that accent what makes that accent specific. Like he's got the South map by city.
Word.
He can go to different cities in different states and tell you the differences in the accent. It's incredible, you know, and like you think you know Southern.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many, like, and that, I think coming from New Orleans, particularly, how they often fail at our accent because there's I don't think there's different. I'm about to say there's different versions of the New Orleans accent, but two, New Orleans as a city, as far as how we actually talk, has not made it as mainstream as the New York accent, or you know, many of these others that we always kind of mimic.
I will say he got Louisiana as a whole down,
and that's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, he went from north to mid to South Louisiana to New Orleans. He stopped short because he was like, there's way more of it, and I'm not gonna, go into it because I'm still working on it my dad. But he has the shit down.
Yeah.
But he was like, Louisiana, their actions, because you think about all of the influences. You have the French influence, where it started from, then the Spanish when it took over.
Caribbean.
Yeah, and African.
Yeah, African.
And you got the fucking English once they showed up, and it's just part of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
People, it's a transit city, so people show up from all over, so you don't know how much influence.
That's the thing too, and I guess we could possibly get into this. Right now, we currently stalling for my co-host, the BlackActorPedia.
Let's just start and just jump them in.
And yeah.
Because I do have to go to Costco after this.
Gotcha, my dude.
BT's parade.
So let me because I was about to bring up before we even got to things like super officially and shit, like there's like I put up a status basically asking folk like, if you have any question you want to toss at us while we doing this, let me know. And somebody asked me,
people did shit?
Huh?
I'm looking at this shit too.
Oh no! Only one person responded so far.
Okay.
I only put it up like a little while ago, but one person responded. But I was trying to since we waiting on LW to get it, I was like, well, why don't we just get to this question then?
Yeah.
But it was basically talking about getting in the game. What would you tell someone trying to get in the game late, or someone who's thought they never could, but apparently. Thought that they never could, but they've always wanted to do it. Like you saw them learn how to act.
Okay. First and foremost, hey, if you had any thought about your ability to do the shit, I would say first things first.
You know what? Before you even start talking, my dude, like I said, we gonna just start it for real.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome to the real. Fuck it. I feel like you about to drop some real, and I'm like, when you gonna drop that real, man? You might as well drop that real, and we know who the fuck you are. So, niggas just been talking here. So, welcome to Acting While Black, Take 2. I'm so excited to be in here again, man. Like I said, this project for me has been one I've been wanting to do for a long time now. And the fact that we getting it rolling, we getting it off the ground, man, I'm excited to talk to damn near every black actor I know and that I don't know just yet. Because I stand by as an actor, as a creator, as a writer, as a director, as a filmmaker, as a producer, as a stand-up comedian of color. Your journey is going to be very, very different from your white counterpart, and I want to start documenting what our journeys have been like being creators of color, you dig? So that's why it's called Acting While Black. It won't only just feature black people. I'm going to get some Hispanic people, I'm going to get some Asian, I'm going to get other people of color, but I'm black, and a lot of people I know is black, so we starting with our blackness, and other people going to fall in where they fall in. So last week we had Jaron Mitchell. Once again, thanks to my homie, Jaron. The homie, everybody's homie. Do you know anybody who's ever said any ill word about Jaron Mitchell?
No. Also, once you get to a certain level in this industry, in this city, if you got bad words for it, probably ain't gonna make it far.
Truth. Because this is like, I think we talked about this with Jaron as well. In our community, for the most part, we all know each other and we're all pretty supportive of each other.
Gotta be.
Because
it's a community.
Right.
Also, I'm Theodus Crane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Welcome. Let me welcome my guest to this motherfucker. You hear me? This week we got my dude Theo Crane. It's funny, son. Just let me know who you is first.
Yeah, I'm Theodus Crane. This is my first decade in. This is my 10th year. It's my 11th year. This is my 10th. How are you doing, bro? Hey. This is my 10th Mardi Gras, my 11th year acting.
Your 10th Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Happy Mardi Gras also.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Fuck Mardi Gras. Make space for it.
Yep.
What?
Co-host in the building, man.
Man.
Shout out to the giant sinkhole that is in front of Mr. Bat's house.
Oh yeah, there's a big sinkhole there. Yeah, it sucks.
Okay. I almost had a quick trip to China. Very quick. Hey. But I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good. And thankfully, so is my car. I didn't break an axle. Everything's cool.
We just on introductions, man. My dude, we was leading my dude Theo in, but let him know co-host.
What's up, folks? This is Lawrence J. Weber Jr., apparently the BlackActorPedia.
The BlackActorPedia.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. That is Soulboy30. Check me out on Snapchat. That is LWeber584. And check me out on ArrogantObserversRants.blogspot.com, where the cat, if you are listening to this after you're listening to the Your 30 podcast, is still wearing that tutu. I don't know how he got said tutu.
Yeah.
But he's okay with it. He's very comfortable in his tutu. So I'm going to leave the cat alone.
I'm so glad we explained the cat last episode.
Last episode,
Yeah.
so I just got to sit here.
Yeah, you gotta just be wondering.
I got to go. But you know what? You and I both, listener, have to go back and listen to the first episode.
Yep.
And I will, of course, explain that I have a blog that is ArrogantObserversRants.blogspot.com. I have not written on it. I've had it for like 5 or 6 years. I haven't written on it in a very long time. So I say that the only person who inhabits that blog is a cat playing on his iPad.
And every episode, he lets us know what the cat is most likely up there doing while he's not updating this blog of his.
At all.
You feel me? But yeah, like you were saying, though, our guest this week. What was
I'm
up?
sorry.
What was
The
it?
cat is, while wearing his pink tutu, he is reading Yellow Man by Dale Orlando Smith.
Shouts out to Yellow Man.
There we go.
Thank you, man. So we got my dude Theo
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and you were saying that 10th year,
Yeah, 10th Mardi Gras.
10 Mardi Gras.
I moved here after my first Mardi Gras. Saw my first Mardi Gras. 2 things happened. One, I saw Mardi Gras as a whole. Was like, yup, I need to be in the city that this happens. 2, I saw 610 Sombras. Like, I got to figure out how to be one of them motherfuckers. That was the first 2 things that happened. Upon like everything else happened as it was supposed to. But those 2 things, I was like, nah, I'm gonna have something to do with that.
So where you from?
I'm from Atlanta.
All right.
But I don't care about football.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah.
So you good?
It keeps me safe.
You're in the safe space.
Dog, I remember one year Atlanta came and beat the Saints, and motherfuckers, like, somebody in the quarter got beat up for wearing a Falcons jersey.
Yeah.
Like, straight beat the it's a goddamn, it's football.
It's a game.
It's modern day Mandingo fighting, and we are beating people up in the middle of the street about that shit.
But
I'm gonna
Theo,
leave that alone. I have my own little dealings with that. Slave auctions. But we gonna leave that alone.
well, ain't nobody gonna step to you. How tall are you, bruh? You look like you're ready to fuck up anybody.
Anybody can hold a pistol.
Right. Okay, I forgot. We New Orleans. We are New Orleans. Niggas shoot big niggas. I got you. You right.
They shoot little dudes, big dudes, medium dudes, women.
It's like Bubba Gump with the shrimp.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, pile, indiscriminate. At Little League games, that was the worst. Anyway.
Wait, and you said you're 10 years in the game. 10
10
years in New Orleans, 11 years in the game.
Yeah.
So so I remember when I first saw you, when we most likely first met, and it was at Tom Todoroff. He was doing this workshop. And me and my dude Joe, Alpha Joe, was all in the class, and we just watching
Joe
you
from
guys.
Austin?
Huh?
Joe from Austin with the afro?
Nah, Joseph. He's light skinned.
Okay.
The clear one.
He keeps calling this man the clear one. But it was some of us students, and we just went in there, we were just watching it. We was watching Tom Todoroff, we was watching you guys. I remember you did a monologue from Boys in the Hood. Yep. And I was like, man, because you had the accent, and I'm like, you was a big dude. Like, you was, and like right now, you more trim with it, but you was like tall and wide with it. And I was like, man, that dude could really fuck some shit up in the action game, yo. Like, I was thinking at some point you gonna be somebody, you about to break somebody's car, you gonna be somebody's bodyguard, you gonna be somebody's superhero. I was like, man, I see a bunch of things going now. Where was your mindset at? How many years ago was this?
This might have been 2012. Because I moved here in 2010. I found Lance 2011.
Lance Nichols.
Lance Nichols and my agent that was here, King Del Corral.
Okay.
I found him in 2011. And so I think Todoroff happened to. I met a bunch of people with that thing. And you know what? Now that I've been doing it for a little longer, and I've met more people, more teachers and coaches or whatever, he was the first person to ever get me, like, out of my whatever it is you got to get out of before you can really start expressing yourself.
Out of your head many times.
Yeah.
We all have these, not all, but a lot of times people have these barriers.
Yep.
And
it's psychological shit.
Yeah.
Like shit you just haven't addressed yet.
don't even realize it.
Yeah. And so it happened and I felt it. And it was like, oh shit, that's what I've been looking for. And it's almost, but it felt, at the time, it felt a lot like a trick.
What exactly?
Like
What
so,
felt like a trick, I mean?
So I was doing the scene, and I did the scene the way I planned to do the scene. It was fine. And then Tom started doing adjustments, and he was like, "You're here, and you think about this person doing this thing." And I'm doing a monologue, and then he says, "Get mad," and I did, and I just did, and I said whatever line it was, and I heard somebody in the audience go, "Oh," and it's silent. Oh,
I affected someone just now.
yeah,
I just did.
Okay. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Cause like my whole career started with a Google search.
What? Okay.
I want to know this story.
Yeah, I mean, he said it started with a Google search. And then it's blank. What's up? Like, let me leave y'all in suspense for a second.
My first professional acting job was in Atlanta at Seven Stages Theater in a production of Hair. It was the 30th anniversary of the show and the 20th or the 40th. See, the 20th or the 40th anniversary of the theater. Like, they fell at the same time. And that was the first time money had ever come into play. I got, $250 a week, which was about as much as I was getting in my job at the time. So I had to pick between the job and the play. I'd only done, like, free regional theater on the weekends up until that point. It was just Jesus Christ Superstar. We did that shit for like 2 or 3 years back to back. We would just do it for a couple of times and then go on about our business. And I was like, I can't wait to do that shit again. And so the same dude who put it on hit me up like, look, I got you an audition for this play. You should come down and do it. I'm like, I'm at work. I was currently at work. And like, I could get off in enough time to make it down there and do it. But it'd be at the last minute. I ain't gonna worry about it. And I went over it back and forth, like the whole shift was like 5 hours. Got off like, fuck it, I'm gonna go down there. I made it 20 minutes before the auditions closed. Audition, got it, $250 a week. All right, well, I guess I gotta quit my job. They was rehearsing 9 hours a day.
Damn, yeah.
And
You talking musicals too?
yeah,
So
yeah.
So you're a singing cat. You're a musical theater cat, I mean.
That
That's what he is, or he's done so many musicals.
I only done 2.
Two. But people, dude, I wouldn't peg you as a cat that's done one. Like that's a surprising thing. I didn't expect you to say that. I was like, wow, you can sing and dance, Mr. Theo.
I'm full of surprise.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Thank you. I'm sorry. I tried to peg you. I was like, damn. You was doing but we just were talking about Brian Tyree Henry, who was doing Book of Mormon. And a lot of people wouldn't think that Paperboy is doing Book of Mormon. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Huh?
The general.
Yeah.
He was the general.
So, but
Yeah.
continue. I mean, you just made me think of that. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So and doing fucking accents anyway.
We were talking about accents earlier, man.
Bane of my
Hashtag
existence.
big folks in musical theater.
Yeah.
Man, but no, so did this play, best experience of my life up until that point. Third best. I got 2 kids.
Yeah, this is recording right now.
This will live on forever. So good cut, good
Third
catch.
best experience of my life up to that point. But more than anything, I found the thing that really drove me to do something. Up to that point, I ain't did shit with my life. Like, full of potential, full of promise, but hadn't really realized any of it. And that was the first time I was like, I want to put it all on the table for that, for whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, we did the run, fantastic, and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That was a sentence. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I hadn't even committed to a person that hard yet. And
pause, how old are you at this point?
28.
So late 20s, because this also feeds into that question
Oh, yeah.
someone asked about getting into the game
so
later. You know,
it was actually going to start with this.
Cool.
So good, yeah. Actually, if you want to go ahead and put the question out.
but it was basically because it was funny as the dude, my dude Jamal, someone else asked me on another post about how about getting into the game later, et cetera, et cetera. And what he did was he was like, "Yeah, man, what you told a girl about that? Can y'all talk about that on this episode?" And I was like, "Well, can you form it in an official question?" And
What are we supposed to ask?
right, but
proper nouns and shit.
something just so I can know how to ask my dude, like, okay, specific law to bring it out, because he was like, just present the question so we'll talk. And I asked him that, and I never went back to see how he presented it, but I know the topic was in that arena of I want to get in the game. I've been wanting to get in the game. I haven't been doing it since I was in my teens or since my 20s. I'm like 30s, 40s,
Is there a too late? And
Is there a too late?
And if there's not a too late, how the fuck do you get in?
That's
Because I work with Disney kids now, man. Like people that started as fucking Disney kids, like groomed for this, and you see their trajectory is so fucking sharp.
It's laid out until they have mental problems.
Well,
It's the mental side that kind of take a lot of them out.
And it's until they burn out.
Burn out.
Some people have the stamina and don't burn out.
Right.
And that's what they want to find out. That's the last thing. Like, do you have stamina? You have all these other things. Now, do you have stamina? Can you keep doing it?
Right.
You can do it. We know you can do it. We've seen you do it multiple times. Now, can you do it for the rest of your life? And if you can't, when can you stop? When do you stop? And we'll find out when we get there.
Consistency is key, and I stand by. To me, the true success in this game isn't like just fame or even just money. It's longevity. You hear me? When I look at a lot of our older compatriots, like a Lance Nichols, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, the thing I respect the most about you is you stuck with it until this age, and look what you've done, and you still in the game working.
Yeah.
That's what I want my future to be, working.
Lance Nichols.
You know what I'm saying?
He starts careers like Lance Nichols.
He does.
So okay, before I even get into that, rewind. So I do this play. We finish the run. I'm like, all right, I need to know how to go. Getting a job at that point, like any regular ass job, no matter whether the economy was booming or if it was bottomed out, I could go somewhere and like get on a bus, and by the end of the day have a job when I go home. Like I will hustle and I will learn any fucking thing. So, and I'm resourceful, very resourceful.
A bunch of good traits for an actor, right there. I'm
Yeah,
just going to throw you out there.
for sure, and that's part of the reason I'm bringing it up. And like, I know that if I can get any job like that, then I can get this job, and just keep getting it. And so, little did I know. But,
We'll get to it.
so I started Google searching the people who I look like, big black dudes. Okay, what did they like? When did they start? What did they do to start? Did they go to a school? Did they do what? How do you maintain a business? So in this instance, it's representation. You have people that deal with as you level up. Each level has its list of demands or a list of requirements. And when you start, you have to be able, well, one, you just need to be able to get a job. You need to be able to get an audition and get a job, which means you need to have your bare minimums. And these are all things like, this is how the Google search structured itself. So I need a headshot because all these people have headshots and resumes. I don't have a resume. I've done 2 things. So those 2 things are not going to mean much. I'm going to lie. I'm going to lie. I'm going to tell some bold faces, make some shit up. But it's going to be a 3-thing resume.
Yeah.
And figure out like the headshot. So you find a photographer who don't know what the fuck they doing either, and just take your picture and it looks like you, because that's all a headshot is supposed to do anyway. It's supposed to be the best representation of what you presently look like. It's not supposed to be bright and shining. It's not supposed to be magical unless you got magic in you. If you got magic in you, then if they can take a picture of that and put it on and put it on a photo, then you got the headshot you're looking for. So
shout out to Marty, who has been doing my headshots for the better part of the last decade.
Big ups as Marty Edwards as a partner of ours, and shouts out to Cloud Strife. It's another cat of mine that's been doing headshots like crazy. And I want to say this, something that you just touched on that was real. use these students, these student directors, these
yeah.
student photographers. They're out here for that. But continue.
Yeah. Because like now, this is one of my favorite topics because it's so fascinating to me. Because like now that I see what it looks like to start as a child, you know, motherfuckers starting as infants, little baby in the thing. I held what could be a future fucking Oscar winner. You know? Like, you got a job as a 0-year-old. Fucking shit. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
So, you got to have a headshot resume. They got to know who you are and how to get in touch with you and what you have done if you've done anything. And then you got to learn how to do it. Right? So, that's the thing about... So we're in what's called a satellite market. That is not New York or LA. And in satellite markets, one of the biggest obstacles is finding good training. You can either go to college or you can pick through whatever is available and find an acting coach that might know something.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking a huge risk. Unless you're in a city where they are known, like Chicago is known for good acting. It just happens to be theater acting and improv, right? But you're still going to find an acting teacher who bring that magic out. Because that's all you're really trying to do is bring your magic out. That's all acting really is.
And knowing how to access it when called upon.
Yeah. Being a master of your magic. You know, having that mastery, being able to shoot your beams the way you need to. And, you know, if you're in a place, they're everywhere. That's the thing. They're fucking everywhere. Good acting teachers are everywhere, and it's just a matter of your situation and their situation aligning, and them being able to teach in a way that you will respond to. Because not every acting teacher is for everybody.
Right.
So I Googled. I was in Atlanta, so I was Googling Atlanta people, and I found agencies and I found some acting schools, but like you have to start getting specific. And when you start getting, the more specific you can get, the more likely you will find what you're looking for. And I didn't know how to ask what I was looking for, so I found some janky places. I went to this one spot and like, you know, the rip-off places they show on TV, like where they exaggerate the shit, they like, it's obviously, you have to not be paying attention in order to get taken advantage of by these people. Like, it's obviously a ripoff.
Right.
I've been to one of those places.
Just to see.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, they got you.
No,
Okay.
No, they didn't get me. I sat there and listened to this dude and said, "Oh, I will never see you."
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to see for a second, let me see what this is. Oh, I see what this is.
Yeah, because you also gotta be open to every possibility. At least hear them out, you know, and be able to sniff out bullshit. So that's another very valuable tool. I learned that from my mom. My mom's a hustler. My mom sold pantyhose for 6 years out of the back of her car, and I helped her. We paid rent.
Straight up. Come on.
She taught me so much about just sniffing out bullshit, you know, and that's not an easy thing to teach a person. So I always commend her in times like that, cause boy, once you sign your name to some shit, bro, they got you.
And pause, you got me thinking about the whole truth about the irony about craft is that we recreate life. And we need all of the experiences of life to make us whole enough to recreate it as honest and authentically as possible. So even something as real as what you just said, your mama prepares you from, because all of your experiences technically as you grow up is what prepared you to be whatever character you need to be, or even to maneuver in the business. Yeah. So it's like, it's a very poignant thought to think of, to take in of, yeah, man. Like, Karen Green, she's a singer in New Orleans, and she said this quote that will stick with me. She said, "Everything you need is in you."
I don't agree with that.
I do.
I don't. So here's why. The essentials are definitely in you.
That's what I mean.
The stuff to bring out, but
you gotta learn other shit.
Yeah, there are things you have to know that you don't already. Like, they are not inherent. They go against every grain you've ever experienced.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean the essentials of, even if it's to know that
expression, yeah.
Not even just expression. I mean even just to be like withstanding what you got to withstand, what natural preparations you have, knowing that I need to go get taught. Some people don't even have that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things of, even if you don't know, the quest for knowledge, if you need to be on that path. There's another thing. This applies by context too, of depending upon your path, maybe you ain't even on the right one if you ain't got what it takes, etc.
So that was when you first told me what that question was, this was going to be the entry to my answer.
Shoot.
Go get a goddamn therapist. Woo!
Wasn't expecting that. Shoot.
Get somebody to teach you how to learn yourself. Because how the fuck can you express yourself if you don't know what you're talking about?
Shout out to mine.
You gotta like have somebody that you can talk to. Like, it can't all be your voice.
Yeah.
Acting is about dialogue and how you respond to somebody else.
Truthfully.
Yeah. And so, like, you have to know how to talk to people as a fucking person before you can be an actor. You cannot be delusional.
And you got to know how to listen, because listening is the most important part of acting.
This is the most important part, talking.
Ding, 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 ding. And most people don't even realize that.
Yeah.
Just that simple thing.
Took me a long fucking time. That's what I'm saying. Get some fucking therapy, man. It took me, I was in my 30s when I started getting my shit together.
Right.
I was in my, like, there's about 10 years that I feel like I just gave away. You know, just Arrested Development, just floating around, just doing shit. You know? And I hate to admit that I have regrets, but, like, I would have 3 and that would be 1. Like, because those 10 years, those were the energetic years. I was just doing shit and I had all this energy and I would have been a gangster. God, damn, I would have been good. Ooh, I'd have been good. Also, I could have been famous and I could be dead by now.
Or even not dead, there's a bunch of negative roads that could have happened.
Well, that's in my mind, like, because I don't know what happens afterwards, that's the ultimate ending.
Right.
You can't come back from it. You know, like everything else.
And there's
you have
nothing
at
to
least-
learn.
Huh?
There's nothing to learn when you're dead.
Yeah. You can't learn shit else. And so that's the only thing. But, like, get yourself some therapy. Learn how to talk to people and learn how to be a good friend. Learn how to be a friend. Learn how to be an enemy. Learn how to be a fucking well-rounded human. The best acting advice I ever got was by Bill Chop, who was the principal on Wizards of Waverly Place.
Whoa. What? Gotta hear this. What?
But he's also a dope ass stand-up. I met him at the New Orleans Comedy Arts Festival.
But you know, you saying it came from him. Yeah. Okay, for a second I thought you said from the character.
No.
I like that Wizards of Waverly Place put you on like that? Shit! I need to go back, Disney bitch. What?
No, but he was like, always surround yourself with good people. And this was like a little bit after I just started. Like, I got my first couple of jobs, and I had seen checks for $1,000 or $8,000 because I hadn't before. You know, because one of those big lessons I didn't learn was how to manage money.
I mean, most don't.
And how to make money. Because sometimes it's not even management. Some people have a pretty good idea, a pretty solid start if they had enough to work with.
Real.
And so how to admit to yourself that you have value. Because nobody's going to fight and pay and argue over somebody they don't believe in. And if you don't believe in yourself, why the fuck should anybody else believe in you?
Right. And I'll often tell people so much of this game is just confidence.
Yeah. Once you get your big confidence. Anyway, yeah, I'm digressing like a mother. So,
but at least it's real shit though, man. We'll continue.
But yes. Okay, so you gotta have confidence. You have to believe in yourself more than anybody else believes in you, because nobody.
They're not gonna fight to hire you.
Yeah, and they are looking for that level of confidence. Like, I know what the fuck I got, and you will soon.
Because as we said last episode, casting directors are on your side. They want you to win.
Bruh.
Never forget that.
Yeah,
but getting back to your journey, so it went from the theater. You decided you was gonna do this, and this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah. So I'm in Atlanta. I'm trying to get an agent. I'm trying to get training, I can't buy 5 minutes in a room with anybody. Like nobody would talk to me. And I'm still trying. I got a job. So in October, I got a job working at haunted houses and shit.
That's an acting gig, technically, bro. That's an acting gig, bro.
But you know what? I learned so much. I learned so fucking much because I, as a person, am not a big scary man. And if you are in a haunted house, you have to embrace your big scary man. Yeah. If you are a big dude, like if you any kind of big, you have to be a big scary man. And like some of the shit that I had to do, my internal dialogue, I still use today. Yeah. I just being able to go there, you know, but yeah, anyway, going for it.
And once again, that's your experiences help shape your craft, no matter what they are. Real shit. What you saying, son?
Yeah, and you have to look at them as what they are, just an experience. Mm-hmm. You know, this experience, and then you have your next experience. Let shit go, forgive and forget the shit you don't actually need. You know, because there's a lot of stuff you do need, but there's shit that you don't need that you can let go. Right. You'll be all right. But I ended up meeting this woman and moving to New Orleans. And first I saw Mardi Gras, then I saw 610 Stompers, and I moved to New Orleans, and I married this woman.
You married? You say married?
It was, dog, if your story is not crazy, if your story is not dope, why tell it? You know?
No, run that shit. Run that shit. I'm with it.
And that's what I'm saying, but that also goes into the experience because, like, I'm going to skip forward a little bit, like, having a good substitution is invaluable. But yeah, so I get here and I do a play. Fuck, what is her name? Pamela Davis Nolan.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of her plays. Shouts out to Pam.
That's my motherfucking homie, man.
Yeah.
She gave me my first lead role.
Good shit.
She's
a great director.
She is a great director, and that was a lot of fun. And it was some wild shit. And I'm just really happy. That was the last play I ever did. But I'm really happy I did that. That gave me the confidence to think lead. You know, you have to believe that shit too, because there's so many different roads you can go down that are all successful in their own right. Right. You know? But
and it's and there's pride in all of it. You do it. Because some people feel like, well, if I'm not the lead, I ain't shit. And that's not the truth.
There are no small parts.
There are no small parts whatsoever. I remember I was in the play once, and I'm just doing this 1 or 2 scenes, and the people writing up about me like I'm the fucking lead. Yep. And I'm like, wait, wow. You hear me? But that's why you
know what? Everything I've ever seen you in has been memorable.
Word, I appreciate
Everything I've ever seen, like, you are a dope ass actor, bro. Like, yeah. Even the fucking table read for Pamela Davis Nolan at not always. It was like 2 years ago. But yeah, it was about that family. There was the mother was going senile or something.
Oh yeah, I was a crackhead in that. Well, I was on drugs or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Bruh, it was so fucking. It was a goddamn table read. It wasn't even real sick. It was a table read, y'all. It was a goddamn table read. And this man, that shit was so dope. Right. I love watching you act, bro.
Thank you, son. For real. Thank you, man. Well, we talk about you, my nigga. Back to it.
But no, so, you know, going forward, I'm like, okay, so it happens here too, because I had no idea New Orleans had anything.
As far as theater, or as far as like anything,
I didn't
film,
know
acting.
Anything about New Orleans.
Whoa.
Like finding out that film and TV was like popping here, like,
because you came at the right time.
I came at the perfect time. And sometimes you just gotta go where the wind blows you, man. Like if you are about that life, which is like starting as an actor, where whatever roots are set, keep them set. You will need them. Whatever roots are free, let them fly, and go as far as you can, or as far as you have to, because it happens every fucking where, man. And it's like you do not know what's gonna be your thing. You might start out with this whole big ambitious scene laid out in your head. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna start with this kind of role, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna be blah blah blah, and I'm gonna win an Oscar. And then you start out, and then you find that you don't want to do anything more than act in the plays and the scene where you live, and you don't want to get bigger, and that's all you happy with, and that's your life, and that's a beautiful fucking life, right? Because all it really is, success is nothing more than actually accomplishing the goal, the true goal that you set for yourself.
Right.
I did it. I won whatever. I'm happy.
What comes after just is what comes
Lame.
after. Yeah.
It's like you have the motherfucker, man. And that's great too. But like real success, like fulfillment, like I can die and be cool. You know, like everything else is just like I think that's what a good life is. Like once you do your shit, like,
yes. So how did you get your agent? That's a question people always ask.
So the first thing I did was found training, and I went to Lance Nichols, and Lance Nichols requires that the first thing you do is a career consultation. And I told him about all the stuff I had done up until this point, and what I wanted to do going forward, and any experience that I had. We did a monologue, we did a scene. He pulled a scene out. We did a scene from Weeds, and then he sat down and had a real life 30-minute talk with me. No, it was like an hour. We talked for about an hour. No, it was 30 minutes because we did that scene. Lance is protective of his time, and that is a great skill to learn. He sat me down and was like, you need to go to Jacksonville to get some headshots. You need to go to Ken Del Corral to be your agent. And you need to learn the names of all of these casting people in New Orleans. And he laid them out for me. I'm not going to tell you because you need to look them up yourself.
Boom.
And reach out to them and make some fucking friends. Because they are people. They are fucking people. They are actual human beings and not there to satisfy your selfish ass desires. They have a job to do too.
Right.
And that is a hard thing to remember when you are just struggling to get some goddamn work.
Right. Right.
It is a hard thing to do, man, but they are people who actually want you to win, and you have to treat them that way, man. Like, it is, people don't talk about it here, but like in bigger markets, it's customary to send thank yous, Christmases, send a fucking gift. I booked, I booked Walking Dead, and I ended up in Wilmington working on a Christmas movie. And I brought by my agent a bottle of wine, like, thank you. Like, that was a fucking blessing.
Yeah.
You know, like, do it and keep doing it and build relationships because that's what it boils down to, man. Like, it's not about what you want. It's about what you can accomplish with the help of the people that are in your circle.
Because everyone in your circle has dreams too.
Yeah. And if one wins, everybody wins. And that pushes people to work harder. Not just for themselves, but for you, and to advocate for you. You know, if you are doing it right, your name is getting tossed around and you don't even realize it. You know,
that is a very true statement. I've gotten bookings on that.
Yeah.
I've gotten bookings on that. That's absolutely true. Someone might toss my name, or I remember I got called from one cat was like, dude, like whenever I bring up New Orleans actors, your name keeps coming up for this road, and that's you can't call that. It's about you doing your job and making sure you're always prepared, that you have all your ducks in a row so people have no problem bringing your name up because people putting their reputation on the line anytime.
They gotta trust you. They have to trust you. And all of this right here is what I consider your incubation stage, right? Like where you are learning to be a person so that person can learn to be an actor. And the hard thing about that is, like, some people, like, if you grew up in a big market, if you grew up in New York, LA, you are used to that pace. You are used to the difference of levels in, you know, what you experience. You don't just experience you can't go and just have a good time there. You can have any number of good, like, specific things that you are looking for. Like, it's just it's much more vast than the culture in smaller cities, right? And I say that to say that when you start learning things specifically to be good at them, like as a career, your competition starts out harder than we can ever imagine.
Right.
You know, starting out Disney kids. And so, like, you have to give yourself room to grow. If you didn't grow up in an environment that is preparing you to grow at a fast pace and to have the kind of resilience and have the kind of fight in you that, you know, you might have it here, but you have to test it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to test it. And
every step is part of the marathon. It's not a sprint, guys.
for sure, and that's the thing. It's too many sprinters.
Mm-hmm.
Too many sprinters.
Say that.
And it's cool though, you know, because like
Get your feelings hurt.
just because we feel like this is what is meant for us, that doesn't mean it's meant for everybody.
True.
And some people find for some people this is just a step. You know, for me, this might be just a step. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but what I do know is I was fortunate enough to learn to get my skin a little tougher before I went out and tried to do some shit. And I was fortunate enough to have some really, really awesome people having my back. Like I went out to LA first. So once you incubate and you get to a point where you feel like you are ready to start flying, challenge yourself. And I had an opportunity that allowed me to move out to LA. And I did that, and I used my same process to find schools there, and a little bit of word of mouth, because you start to meet people and you build relationships, you keep in touch. Like, oh, I'm doing this here or this there or whatever, and just try shit out, because now you have options.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't even know, and this is actually something I'm really interested in, and would like if anybody's listening and has that information. Where are the good acting schools in New Orleans? You know, who are the hidden gems of acting teachers who need to be shouted out? Because
Well, I got a couple I know I can shout out.
Okay.
Of course, Lance Nichols. I always drop Lance's name. My guy Jim Gleason.
I've been so curious about him. Okay, tell me about Jim Gleason.
I've never been to one of his classes, but everyone has ever been to his classes have told me, dude, they're freaking great. Like,
Okay.
And I know Jim Gleason from just the industry. Like,
Yeah.
on a random, man. This man got me a gig. Funny enough, he's a freaking Star Trek head. And he's a Star like my dude. He's a Trekkie. He's a Star Trek head. And there's a Star Trek web series that was the largest Star Trek web series on like YouTube or whatnot, and on websites that wasn't officially with the official motherfuckers. They was getting millions of people. It was called Star Trek Continues. Millions of people was checking them out because they took the route of picking up where the original show left off with and they never finished their journey. So this web series said, well, they never finished their journey. We're going to finish it through our fiction. And the guy, are you in anime by any means?
A little bit.
Well, he's the guy who's playing Kirk. He's known in anime. He's one of his biggest roles was in this anime called Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, well, he's the lead character's voice, and
The robot, no, not the kid.
the kid, the main one he's the voice. He used the voice of that for years, and he was known from that market, and just the whole nerd culture. So they were looking for a guy to play one of the Black Doctor characters that appeared on Star Trek back in the day.
The only Black Doctor. There was only two.
I'm sorry, get me right.
There's only two. There's only two doctors on the Enterprise, which trips me out because you got like 500 people living on this little ship, and it's only McCoy and Mabenga.
I'm a banker. Well, they got me he threw my name in the hat to this guy. Didn't know me from Jim, and I had never met Gleason in person ever.
Yeah.
He just was someone's following me on Facebook because I respect what this cat's doing. And they gave me a call up. I sent them like a video, and next thing you know, they flying me out to be in their Star Trek Continues joint. I got paid for that, and I was just happy because like we were talking about types. So you're a big dude, so oftentimes, I often get like these gangster roles or these thug roles. We talked last episode about how a lot of black actors have can't escape at some point being a quote unquote thug type. So
I got something for that too.
okay, so we're gonna come back to that. So
That's actually the next question I was about to ask.
getting offered a doctor role in space, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I need that on my reel just to show I might not get this again. And he gave me that opportunity. So just on the people aspect, I'm gonna throw Jim Gleason out there. But I always hear great things. Another name that my girl is this guy named Mark Craig. I don't know anything about him, but I'm gonna throw his name out there because I know people that have been studying under him lately.
Don't forget Dean.
Dean West. Dean West is the guy's been getting it in.
I've taken a couple of classes.
So how was that?
He's really good. He's really good. He does pay attention to detail. So if you're doing something and you think he's not watching you, he's watching you.
So that's a few for people out there in the city who might be listening and might wonder, okay, who locally could I Google? Because like my man Theo saying, you gotta do your own homework. You gotta. I can give you the blueprint, but you gotta follow it. You know.
The harder you go after it, that's really just like the harder you go. That's your fucking your. It's the difference between unleaded and jet fuel, you know, and how fast you move. Yeah. Because like if you go after it, but you know I still got this other thing inside. I'm going and I got some stuff. And mind you, I'm not saying you have to have this is your only job. You have to have a side job. You have to have probably a full-time job and a side job because you got to pay for all this other shit. And
it gets expensive.
Yes, it does get expensive because it's worth it at a certain point. Because you're trying to make rent money in the day, right? Mm-hmm. You trying to make rent money in the day. You got to pay to learn how to do that shit. You got a lot in you, but there's a lot of shit you got to learn. Yeah. You not just acting, but you got to learn set etiquette. And acting is formulaic. You know, writing is formulaic. There is a beginning, middle, and end. The middle is where the peak is. You got to be able to do all that shit. Yeah. You know,
and they don't teach you set culture, and that's a whole other tip about this. Like you can learn a whole bunch of acting, and no matter how much you learn, you still got to be prepared for anything that comes your way. But on the other side of it, it goes back to what you said about being a person. You know what I mean? Just being polite. Yeah. Being the motherfucker that nigga won't work with. Because a lot of casting doesn't even always come down to character and stuff. It's talent and stuff. Sometimes that director just looks at your damn slate. They might just look at your slate and be like, is this the type of person I want to spend 3 months with?
Yeah.
Just off of vibe. And they'll just judge vibe of slate and have whatever bias they may have one way or the other when they watch your audition. And if they don't feel like they can vibe with you when we're in the trenches, cannot deal with this person, you may have missed out. So be aware of how you come across.
Yeah, I will be the first one to tell you. About 5 years ago, I directed a show at Dillard. And after everything was all said and done, the first thing I did was looked at the stage manager and said, is this somebody I'm going to be able to deal with over this course of this month? Is this somebody who comes on time? Is this somebody who is not an a-hole?
Mm-hmm. Put yourself in a position if you're building a team. Yeah. If you're the person in the chair, who would you rather deal with? Because it's a lot of strenuous days. Yeah. Hours on hours that you're going to be on a set.
Long ass days.
Yeah, man. And the best thing you can do is be a ray of fucking sunshine.
Yep. Always prepared. And warm.
Like you want this, you know, and that's the way that you show that you want it, by showing your gratitude, by being the person they need you to be on set, and also once you challenge yourself to like go out and try different shit, this is where range comes in. What you're talking about with like you have an opportunity to play something that's not your type because you want to start out in a box, because if you don't start out in a box, they don't know where to put you.
Boom. I said that last set. Please run that. Yep.
So, like, I am a big black man. They gonna put me, I'm gonna be a prisoner. I'm gonna be a slave. I'm gonna be...
You were on Underground, right? I want to get that experience. One of my partners said, man, you talking to your boy. He went out like a G on Underground.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's one of the proudest moments. Like, when I finished that day and I went to my trailer, it was like, goddamn right. Yeah.
And that's and the thing is, a lot of actors don't feel that often, like fulfilled afterwards. We're so hard on ourselves.
I'm very critical of myself.
So when you really could be like, I did that shit.
Yeah. That felt right and real. And yeah. So no, So I was, prisoner, slave, security guard, thug. Some kind of gangster, and you gotta learn your types, learn how to be whatever it is they're gonna put you as. And sometimes, here's a valuable tool that I found. When you're union, they have something called the SAG Foundation, SAG-AFTRA Foundation. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Okay, they have a lot of online resources. They come to certain cities, but if you're in New York or LA, they have a center. You can go to that center and they have free resources. They can have casting people that will come and speak and like sit in a room with you while you audition.
I didn't know they did all that.
Yeah,
Because on the website, when you go to that part on SAGAfter.com, there's like seminars and workshops and people come and speak and all these
those
things.
workshops and the other thing, when you get on that website, when you're in that city, when you're planning to be there, you have to get in early. Anything casting related fills up quick. And that becomes a theme, like get early. You get an audition, do that shit early because you probably need to do it again. You know, if you have anything, if you have to be somewhere, get it early. I called this dude yesterday, like, yo, I'm on my way.
True story. I like it's tomorrow, G. But I love it. Can't wait. I'm excited because you are day early, bitch. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, like, you know, and just work with your shit because nobody's perfect, and you're better at some things than others, and, you know, don't beat yourself up, but push yourself, right? And then once you get good at the types in your box, right? Like, really, like, explore. Do work on your own. Make shit. Like, rehearse scenes with people just from things. You can download scenes off the internet. You know, you're not an acting coach. They're not an acting coach. Don't pretend to be. Just do the scenes the best you can. And then go see your acting teachers. Go, like, it's expensive. You can't afford to go every day. I understand. Also, there are other things you can do. Make things and show them people, and have people give their honest feedback. This is what I like, this is what I didn't, because it gives you an idea of what you can do to change that, because you know what you did to make the things you make.
And you're also creating your own experiences. When the better, like oftentimes they say your best roles for actors aren't until they're like their 40s and 50s, because that's when you have all these life experiences to pull from.
Yep.
And we can't teach you experience. Like there's some advice that I could, because I direct as well. There's some advice that I know I can give of one kind of actor versus someone just starting out, because even they're not going to get the concept because they don't have enough experiences in their bank to even ride with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when you talk about what you're saying, Theo, about like shooting your own stuff, doing your own scenes, if you decided to learn a different scene every week for a year, you just gave yourself an experience in acting and in using and in exploring that muscle that you wouldn't have had, that you didn't have the year before, that someone else that you might be competing with is not doing.
Yeah.
You feel me? And you created your own experiences. They can't be taken away from you. Nigga can't take experience from you.
Nope. And that's what's going to come into play when you go into a bigger market, because everybody's working harder than you. You have to think like that. What was the other thing?
That's almost a model for me at this point. Like, there's someone right now working when I'm not.
Yeah.
And that gives me a certain like anxiety, I can't lie, whenever I'm doing something else, and I'm like thinking in my mind, like, I shouldn't even be doing this right now, you dig? But you gotta have a fire on yourself because no one else gonna light it.
And that's another reason to have a therapist, because you also have to manage this.
True that.
Some people, not everybody has the same shit going on upstairs, and some people are better at being anxious than others.
True that.
And so learn how to manage that shit. And because you're not going to be able to risk if you're not comfortable with yourself. If you don't believe that you can do, or if you don't believe you have a chance, you're not going to take it. And so, so you got to have, that's where that confidence comes from. And so then going forward, and these are just things I did. This is not a guide by any means. This is just things that I found important.
That's the point of this show, because there's no blueprint to this game.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other people's experiences and journeys.
Yeah.
But there's no set way. No one's going to do what I can do and be able to do it. No one can do what you can do. No one can do what Lawrence can do. It's just, hear these journeys, and when you get in certain positions, know that we warned you.
Yeah.
This is how we did it.
So
it may not work for you.
Exactly.
But hopefully something you can take from me. Continue, my dude.
Take what you need and leave the rest.
You said that earlier, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, and that's the other thing. So, try shit out, because you have to figure out how to expand your box. You have to learn new skills. Because the thing that separates me from other big dudes can come down to my hobbies. You know, so I started getting into shit that I find interesting. I started getting into archery, knife and hatchet throwing. I was a massage therapist for 10 years.
When you busting ass or doing some kind of MMA?
I'm a fighter, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I knew I associated that with you.
I was like 13. What else? Just anything. If you find it interesting, dabble in it. You can dabble. You know, you don't have to commit to everything, but you do have to know, like, some stuff. It's like getting into a good college. You can't. Your extracurriculars mean a lot.
Yes.
You know, And also take care of yourself, because you want to make it to 40 and 50 and be able to do your work. So if you live in a trash ass life, you're going to be a trash ass. You have a trash ass body, you ain't be able to do shit and make faces.
Right. You are your instrument. You are your body, yourself, your health, your mental health, and everything else. If you don't keep it up, you're not going to maintain. And one thing I want to jump back on. You had a question you was about to say?
Actually, I did want to speak to just having those hobbies. I did a production of Peter Pan not too long ago. And for those of you who have no clue, for as big as I am, I can do cartwheels. So somebody asked, was like, can somebody do a cartwheel in this situation? And my big head just raised my hands like, really? Can I see it? So I did like 2, and they were like, okay, we're going to push you forward to do this featured part and this number. So I was like, if you can do something that other people don't expect you to do, for my 5'11", 287-pound ass to be doing cartwheels in the middle of a musical, that's not something that you're going to expect.
Yeah. And what you saying?
So, like I said, if you have those, if you can do back handsprings, if you can do flips, or if you have that talent that, especially when people don't expect, if you're playing against your type, being a big dude, you don't expect me to do a cartwheel. Being a little cat, you don't expect them to maybe like throw hatchets or do karate or stuff like that. So that's also a part of that. Just
and that's how you break out of your box. You know?
And I would just bring out the box. I want to just throw in there. On your freaking resumes and stuff like casting networks and Actors Access, they ask you these questions of what else do you do? Yes. Because that can make or break. Talent didn't even matter fully. Like, you both might be 2 actors that have the exact same skill set, but you can do archery.
Yep.
You can be on Arrow next week and be good being part of the squad and not look weird. Yep. For you, we have to get a stunt double, more money, affecting our budget. We're going with the guy who happens to know archery.
And that leads me into the next thing. Take advantage of opportunities. You know, if somebody asks you to try, I mean, within your level of comfort, you know, don't put yourself in danger. But if it's something that you could probably do that shit. Nothing's beneath you. You're not better than anybody. Nobody's better than you. So every job is important, right? You know, and I found myself in some really, really beneficial places. I started learning how to do stunt work. Yeah. You know, and that is invaluable, because who the fuck is gonna double me?
Right. Oh, and you cutting down costs, because I often say this as an actor on stage, and it works as actor, period, and it works in our industry. You're supposed to be making the director's job easier, and anything that they don't have to think about regarding you because you've got it covered will always keep you with a job in this game.
This is, of course, coming from a person who damn near split his face open during the production of Macbeth.
Oh, I mean, I got my... Yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I bled on stage, literally. But yeah, man, it comes down to it. And I think the main thing that you're telling us is preparation. Being prepared for fucking damn near anything and pushing yourself beyond what you thought your box was. Like you said, according to your comfort level, but not always to your comfort level, because your comfort level can deceive you.
Yeah, and yes, and discover what that shit is, and push yourself.
What's your limit? Maybe instead of your comfort level, find your limit and push that and see how far it goes. No, well, hey, but that's what you learn. You learned that though, you know.
But no, yeah, I mean, but there and
once you accomplish shit, then you realize, wait, I can accomplish shit. Yeah. Then you go accomplish other shit.
Yeah. and you just because of course, I'm human. I have limits, but if I think that way and put myself and put myself out there and to really let you know, no, I'm down. Mm-hmm. Whatever you got, I'm down. We'll at least try it. Mm-hmm. We'll at least try it. It's first off, it's fun. It's fun.
That's what some people forget when they've been in this game for a minute. You're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be doing this because you love it. If that's not the first thing because that's supposed to fuel the passion in the first place.
Yeah, man. Once that tank is empty, burnout is a motherfucker. I've been very fortunate. I've never burned out from this. I've never had a moment where it's I don't want to do this anymore. And that shit is exciting. I don't even like, and I'm the type of person that will think about the negative of a situation, and I'm aware of what the negative could be to think. I just don't bother to think it. Like, it doesn't occur to me. Like, I feel so blessed to have an answer, because answers come so few and far in between. You know, like.
And then you have to realize what to do with it.
Yeah.
when you get the answer.
And that's I kind of made a decision. I guess that's my overarching theme. Is like I learned how to obsess over this. I learned the appropriate way to obsess over it. Like, how do I embed this in who I am as a person? Like, me and my girl met at a goddamn acting class, homie.
You know, and as well as serendipity.
Yeah, you know, it feels right. You know, it feels right. It feels good, and that's what I stick with. And I just try to be the best version of the person that does the right good things, and just keep that going forward and learn more, because all of these things are just little bitty discoveries that took fucking years to pile up on one another. And
more years for you to resonate.
Yeah.
For them to resonate, I should say.
Yeah, because you hear it like, oh my God, that Bill Chalk, going back to Bill Chalk. So he told me, you know, surround yourself with good people, and I was thinking about money, and I'm like, I need money. I don't need good. I need money. I need to like.
I need to live. I need to survive. I got rent.
And I think I wasn't like a dick about it, but I think that came out. Like, you know, people could see shit, and I think he knew I didn't get it at the time, and it was like maybe a year or two later, something happened. Like, things were just going. It was things that were going well, and I looked around like, all these good ass people around me. Huh? These good ass people, this good ass shit. Even the bad shit was good shit, because you know somebody got your back. You know you're gonna do your best, they gonna do their best, and that feels much better than being on your own. And I sent him a Facebook message. I'm sorry, man, I was an asshole.
What you told this man, bro? What you told this man?
I didn't really hear what you were saying, but I really get it now, and I really appreciate you for telling me that.
Yeah.
You know, because you didn't have to. You could have kept that shit to yourself, because that's putting in such a concise statement that all you have to do is unpack it instead of figuring it all out and grabbing piece and putting it somewhere. It just saved me however much time, you know.
So often as humans, though, we so defensive, even mentally, that we'll fight before we'll take in, and it's like, man, just take some shit.
Take it in.
Be
Do
open.
not fight it. That was actually my worst habit in acting classes. I would be resistance. Like, people would give me feedback and like, oh, I think you should do this. Well, I was trying to do this, and that was why my girl wasn't interested in me when we met.
Excuses. Too many excuses.
Yeah, I was making excuses.
Because I see that a lot of times when I'm looking at acting classes. A lot of times, I see it. You see it on set. Where it's like actors like, man, they got all these. I'm like, dude, the director just gave you the note. Take in the note and try again. Go back to back.
Because nobody's accusing you of being bad.
Bruh.
They're just saying they want it done differently.
Because this is the vision.
Yes, because that's the vision. And that's
TDN. Take
the damn note.
Yes, and that is called taking direction. And that is what a director looks for, because a director's job is to give direction.
Right.
That's their fucking job. It's to give direction. So if you're not capable of doing the thing that is their only fucking job, then they cannot hire you.
No matter how great you are.
Right.
LW, I have a couple questions for you, but I want LW to get something in.
I do want to ask, especially...
Pause. Does anyone need water?
I do.
Got you. Keep going.
Like I said, we sit in, well, you and I, of course, sit in the same sort of kind of type. We're two big black dudes. Have you ever had a situation where you take this role and you're like, this is way too stereotypical for my taste, or you couldn't find, thank you, you couldn't find the true dimensions in that person, where it's just, okay, obviously you are just a straight up one-dimensional character. I don't know about this.
Okay, first off, look at the project, the overall project, and like make sure you're saying yes to some at least like make sure you're staying true to yourself and not breaking any personal rules. You know, first things first, protect yourself. Don't say yes to something you can't get behind.
Important.
Yeah.
That's very important.
And then if it's something and you know, everybody has to learn, so everybody's at a certain level, and so that writer might not have experience writing for this type, or he might be exploring how something else works. So your character is not necessarily important in as far as like what he's looking to get for. Like maybe he didn't give you dimensions because, you know, it's just not what he was thinking about. Gotcha. You know, whatever wherever he is in that. So it's your job is to make choices. Mm-hmm. As an actor, you make choices. So make your choices. You know, give your character a story. Yep. You know, if you've only got a few things, well, then what makes a person say those things? What's the mindset? What kind of experiences have they had to put them in a place where, in this situation, they would say that thing? Mm-hmm. And then, how would they feel about it? Mm-hmm. So, you know, how do you feel about it as a person? Like, how different are you from that person? So, how different is their reaction from yours? Gotcha. You know, live, man. They're giving you so much creative space, and all they can do, I mean, they can just say, "I don't like that." Yep. You know, they can say that, and so they don't have to take your vision, but you've just given them an option. You know, maybe now he knows that you can do more, and we'll like, okay, well then let me help you out, or whatever. You know, but you're just being proactive. You know, just not sitting back and saying, well, another one of these shitty ass roles. Let me go ahead and do these 2 lines. Get the fuck on.
But the thing, and what I always take in specifically is that we spoke about this before. These people are human beings. Even if in that time they only say 3 parts in that part of their life that you got the opportunity to see, they only said those 3 lines. And the totality of their lives, there's so much more going on. Yeah. And if you respect, whether it's a small role or a large role, if you respect in that scene those lines and you bring with it everything that you would to any human being, you gonna stand out. We will be taken in by, damn, that motherfucker was believable. Damn, I needed that, you dig? And that will resonate and stick with people. Some people go viral off of 1 line. Mm-hmm. 1 line in a damn movie. And you like, we know Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Mm-hmm. And
surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. Dokes on Dexter did so much. But we know surprise, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. You dig? So,
in short, do your motherfucking homework.
At all times. At freaking all times. So what was it like? How did you feel? Because, you know, a lot of times people don't understand that there's so many jobs that we're doing that you may never even see or ever hear of. But whenever they hear the Queen Sugar, the Underground, the Walking Dead, the NCIS, the Atlanta, that's when they ears start perking up and percolating. So how did you feel when you were able to get on some of these hot-ass projects?
So I have a habit of my hopes and dreams kind of shoot a little bit past reality. Like and I've been, it's much better now. But like I get my hopes up, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm a very hopeful person. It feels good. I've learned to make it so that even if I don't get it, I at least had that. I was able to play with that. I was able to play that. That was a possibility that wasn't just my imagination. That was like an actual possibility. Yeah. So like,
and that casting director saw you.
Yeah. They saw me. Mm-hmm. You know, in New York, it is average to only have 1 audition a year.
Whoa.
Dog.
Bruh.
That is like,
that would fuck with my confidence, dog, so hard, dog. Like, whoa.
So hard. Just imagine that you're looking for a girlfriend or whatever, or a person,
significant other.
Yeah, to do something with anything, but you can only get a date once a year. What kind of psychotic workup are you? Because you are now preparing, you are putting everything you have into this 1 audition, and that is sometimes a lot more than they're asking for. You know, especially if it's like a once a year, this is probably like a one line on a CSI, and you come to the table with like, you know, and so like knowing what you gotta, being able to scale that down and say this dude is walking in like this, you know, and that's where making your own shit comes in, because you are feeding that, and you're also feeding your ambition, because people will forget that was a dream, and then forget what a dream was entirely, and just go do some other shit and not be happy anymore. And that sounds miserable.
But I'm saying Walking Dead and Underground, I'm more than sure get you ignited.
Oh, sorry, yes, your question.
So my segue though, I put that little bitch in there. I'm like, let's do that bit in there.
That's good. But no, so I was a massage therapist. I was a massage therapist at, I won't name the name, at a spa in New Orleans, and I was doing a massage when I saw the email that I got the job.
Which one?
Was Walking Dead.
Okay.
And I almost took my hands off and walked out the room.
I made it, bitch! I made it. Fuck your bones and your nerves, nigga.
Oh my god! I was just woo! I'm so glad I did not. Once you get your big job, do not quit your day job.
Don't, and try your hardest not to spend that money.
Oh my god! Keep that money and spend it on acting classes, get better classes, take workshops, read books.
To this day, I feel bad about how I fucked up my first big check. To this day, I often think about like, damn, if I'd have just built on that motherfucker.
I'm gonna tell you right now, don't have no regrets about that, bro, because you had the experience of having a lot of money, and you learned something from it.
Yeah, that's what I take from it.
Yep.
I know not to fuck up like that again.
Because honestly, what a fun lesson.
Right.
What a fun lesson.
Right.
I had that lesson. That was a beautiful lesson.
My girl at the time loved it.
Mm-hmm.
We had some fun. We traveled and shit.
Boy,
It was cool.
and so that's the other thing that happens. Like you gonna get a little change if you do it right. And you know, the first one, if you book some big shit, you got one. You might get one more. Make sure at least one of those is spent getting better, so you can get another.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, so Walking Dead and Underground are the two biggest things I've done so far. And I will say that my reactions to both to them were different. Partly was the situation. Like the first one, I had never done any. I'd had one union job before that, and I didn't know shit. I didn't know. I hadn't experienced anything in the business, because you have to also deal with the business. I love the business. I'm fascinated by the business.
Yeah,
I agree business is so interesting to me, because so many huge decisions are made, and just the way they go about making them. This is a machine that is always moving. You can make a movie you can shoot a movie in 20 days.
I've been there.
You can make a movie in a year, or you could wait 10 years for one movie to come out. You know, or it might never come out.
Yep.
Ever. Nobody will ever see it, you know?
Currently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you ain't got one of those, you probably you
keep on acting, keep on working. It's gonna come to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be drove. You gotta forget about it.
And that first one, like it was like woo, like man, it's about to be about to get the fuck on. And Underground, so yeah, that was the difference. The first one, I was thinking about the opportunities that would provide me. I was thinking about the check and not the job.
Yeah.
I had to reel that in. Sorry. But yeah, so I was like, I'm about to have a good time having fun with this money, and I did. You know, I did what I set out to do, and I'm still grateful for that experience. The acting experience. I mean, because of how good how well that show is done. I had no choice but to have a great acting experience.
Right. Tell us about your character for now.
Big Tiny was one of 5 prisoners in a jail cell. They found that, like Rick and all found, they busted in the prison. Excuse me. And then we had to figure out how to integrate or not. And it turned out being 100% not. And I was the first person that season to die.
They kill black people though.
Big black dudes, especially, but black people, boy, if you a black person in a horror movie, I was a black person in a horror show. Yep.
You knew at some point, like, I'm on this horror joint. I'm going to get got.
You know, but it was a great experience. I got to learn a lot from the people around me, people I'm still friends with.
Word.
You know, and it afforded me a lot of opportunities going forward. So I'm thankful and grateful for that.
Chris Rock said a job is not successful unless it begats another job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then Underground was different though because I had moved to LA, and I was out there for about 6 months, and then I got this job, this stunt job, my first ever stunt job, doubling the series regular, which meant as long as I didn't fuck it up, I had a job for as long
you have
as the
a
show
job.
was. Yeah,
You did.
And so I had just moved back to New Orleans for that, and I'm gonna go a little TMI on this one, but I'm sitting. So me and my roommate, who was a friend of mine that I used to fight with, we were on the same team, kickboxing team here before I left, and we just grew to be like homies. You know what I mean? And I came back, and she let me crash there, and we ended up being roommates. And so we're in the spot I was crashing. And it was a basement apartment with a real low ceiling. And like it was just like a tiny apartment. And
again, how tall are you?
6'8". Yeah. And I'm sitting on the toilet. And I get this phone call from my agent. And so by this point, I've learned that when I get a call about an audition or even a possibility of an audition, I start doing research on the show. Who produced it? Who's directing it, who wrote it, who's casting it, who's starring in it, if it's already been shot, what the tone of it is. What
It's that. Like. Stop. Pause right there. What you just said. What the tone of it is.
Yeah.
I know specific auditions and gigs I didn't get because I didn't go watch the show and check what, because shows have different tones. If you can't pick that up, if you over here acting like you would in Atlanta for some freaking, I don't know, two guys and a baby, what's that, whatever, 2.5 Men, that's not the same style. If you're going on Breaking Bad, you can't come like you would come on a Tyler Perry joint. And if you're not taking in the tones of the show, you will be shooting yourself in the foot. I want that to be highlighted, but continue, my G.
Real fucking important. So I also look at so the tone of it, if it's episodic or if it's a movie. If it's episodic, if it's a 30-minute or a 60-minute, because that tells you how much time you have. If it's a 30-minute, everything's quick. And if it's 60-minute or whatever, like it could be some alternative format. If it's longer, you got time to breathe and do shit. You got time to have a little bit more fun. If it's a movie, if it's an indie or if it's big budget, indie, you can be quirkier. Big budgets, you want to fill in types.
And I want to go back to what you said as well when you said you have more time to do stuff. That's in your audition. Appreciate the pauses. Sometimes we get so afraid to just let something breathe. Or to appreciate a pause or to know, like, dude, you don't always have to be react directly.
But it's also the experience, having the experience with them to know when to shorten it and when to let it out. And
exactly.
Like what you're doing with it. So you got to play with it.
You got to play with it, but you got to know which thing you're playing with. Because sometimes you can't have all them fucking pauses. You got to be quippy and witty. So, but I want that to just be explained a bit of, that's really what your auditions and when you step on those sets of how to not even behave. I guess it's going into the tone thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I mean, and that's circling that right back, finding a fucking acting coach or acting school, a good one, a reputable one. Even like a base level one will get you in the door so that you know what you are looking for to find a better one.
Yeah. And some agents will pick you up if you don't have that much experience, but they see that you've been training. So that's another thing there, because you can put your teacher, whoever you was training with, and your coach's name on your resume when you send it in, and they might know that person. They might call that person, and that's how you might get your agent.
So in some cities, it is customary for agencies. Sometimes we'll have workshops. So here's the thing: it's tricky, right? Workshops is tricky because that is something that can be beneficial. But like, if your agency has a workshop, you have to look at if it's a conflict of interest. I think because your agent's job is to get you auditions and to get you in front of casting. So if they're charging you for something else, you have to look at what the thing is they're charging you for. So I like to have like individual jobs delegated. My agent gets me auditions.
Boom. They
negotiate my contract, and depending on your relationship, y'all go to church on Sunday. There are acting, like my acting school that I go to, they have industry nights where they'll invite casting people to come in and just watch people perform. And then there are independent places that have the same thing. So you just be careful, be wary. You're gonna lose a little bit of money. Try stuff out. We met in a Tom Totteroff workshop. This dude, Tom Totteroff, comes across the country and basically watches you act, gives you notes, and tells you whether or not he wants you to move to New York to come take his workshop. To come take his conservatory. It's 2 years. I know somebody that has done it, and they said they had a good experience there, and those are all the truths that I have for him.
Right.
I actually had a really good experience working with him in the workshop, and I would recommend that you take it. I'm learning to be very careful with my endorsements of people.
Your rep is on the line.
Yeah. So I speak in experiences. This is what my experience was with him. If yours is different, I'm sorry that happened, or congratulations. But yeah, so like, again, you have to be risky because sometimes a good acting coach is somebody that just stopped being an actor. Like, it's a weird thing, man. Acting coaches and actors are not always one and the same, and sometimes they are. My biggest gripe that I ever had with Lance Nichols is that when I got an audition for something, he probably did too.
Yeah, he works. Yeah. Lance works, baby.
And I'd be like, Lance, I need you to help this audition. Came in, I'm working
on mine.
Yeah, it's like, you can't be mad at that. Like, fuck, can we work together? Shit.
So you bring up Lance. So who are some of your black actor influences?
Ooh, yeah. So, all right, Morgan Freeman. Because I started, in my opinion, so late in the game. Late in the game is a relative term. It doesn't actually mean anything. And you can start whenever the fuck you feel like.
There's always a role.
Yeah, there's always a role. You are a human being, and we need actors to play human beings. So that's how that works.
If I'm not mistaken, Morgan started in the electric company at 30.
He was in New York for 20 years before he got anything of note that I can think of. 20 fucking years. He started out as gray hair Morgan Freeman. So if he could do that shit, I
just always think of lean on me. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, if he can do that shit, then fuck it, man. Like I take my old ass out there and do it. I make 40 this year.
And we black. You don't look 40.
Thank you, man. Yeah, but also
right.
that health shit, man. Like I started training. I actually got my personal training certification. Words are leaving, man. But got my certification. I've been a fighter, so I've been learning to coach and just find things that I love doing, because that's another thing, man. You can't fake passion.
Real.
You cannot fake passion, so you gotta love some shit. You gotta love some shit that's not acting. You gotta love some people. You gotta live a life.
Yeah.
Because while all this shit was going on, man, behind the scenes, I was learning how to be a better human, because there are a lot of things I just had not learned yet. And I just really wanted to be one of those people that people like being around.
Real.
Because I love being around people. I want to be a good friend. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good person. And I think those people, if you are good at whatever you choose to be, because you could choose to be a bad person. If you're truly great at being a bad person, you'd probably be a fantastic actor.
It's all about choices in this game anyway, right?
Exactly. But I put them one and the same for me, because I am in such a place of peace. when I'm able to perform and I feel like I'm really connected and I'm just like expressing myself. And that's really what I think it boils down to for me. Like, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if I'm happy, I'm going to do the best fucking job I can and put everything I have into it. Like, I used to say I wanted to die on set, but I think I'd rather die somewhere else.
I think I would too. Hell, that will toss the last question to you before we let my dude go.
So I'm going to try something. Hopefully it becomes a thing throughout the whole series. It may not. But if you are a fan of Inside the Actor Studio, you know that there's a questionnaire that is done at the very end that James Lipton does. He modified it from this French gentleman, this French talk show host by the name of Bernard Pivot. So, I've got my own questionnaire here.
Like Spitfire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of. All right. Mr. Crane, what is your
so
favorite?
Nervous right now. You have talked this up. God damn. All right, let's go.
Sir, what is your favorite word?
Accommodate.
What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
Everybody hates moist.
I don't
Everybody
actually hate
hates
moist. That's my default. I don't hate it, but I don't have a word that I
It's
hate.
disgusting. Ugh. Anyway, what is your favorite drug or addiction?
Chocolate.
What sound or noise do you love? It could
Hold
be
on.
dirty.
I'm actually playing it in my head right now. My favorite sound is the way my mom says my name when I'm in trouble.
Word.
Theodus!
The entire name I named you.
Oh my god! And it's just so funny to me. I used to be gripped with terror, and now it's just like hilarious to me.
Oh yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
So it's a tie. The first sound is the sound of the inside of somebody's mouth. Like, it's like, no matter if they're chewing or if they just dry, like, cause I got it and I hate it. And I'm like, right, just like that, when you can just hear stuff, like, I'm like hearing my stuff and it's making me, but like, just like, mouth sounds, just, it drives me fucking crazy. Oh my god, shit. All right. The second is, my mom made up a word. Ooh, shit. Nah, it's too much. So on her voicemail, it's this word she says, fabulous. It's like fabulous or fabulous or some shit. But it's like the way she said it, it's just like, and like I would play it for my friend. I would call my mom like, I'm just playing your voicemail, don't pick up the phone. But then she'll pick up the phone again, then I have to hang up, call back. So it's a process, so I'm not going through all that. But yeah, that
Mama
word.
shit.
Yeah.
This is my personal favorite. What is your favorite cuss word?
God damn it.
I'm partial to motherfucker.
I know.
I think everybody's more partial to
It's a
motherfucker.
black man word.
It definitely
It's
is.
a black man word. But I use God damn it with more versatility.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is
I personally have adopted, like, I used to be terribly afraid of blaspheming. And I still am, but I just don't consider goddamn it blasphemous anymore.
I don't think I ever did. I think I was confused. I'm even confused when people say, like, Jesus Christ, don't say that. Why? I'm just saying his
It's
name.
just the word.
It's just the word, right?
Like, you know who doesn't want you to say Jesus Christ? Atheists.
And even more so, they don't give a fuck. More
Right.
so devil worshippers are like, hey.
Well, they say JC.
Oh,
They say JC.
okay, so
Yeah.
no one really cares then, Mom. If you really think about it.
But you know what, though? That's one thing I wish that we could just do better at agreeing on. Just like agreeing that it's just going to be different. It's going to be fucking different. We are spending so much time on that one argument. Well, just
It's different.
No, my dude, what you just said should be applied to the world in America as we know it.
Some
It's just
things you
gonna
do
be
need to
different.
intervene, though. Some things you need to intervene.
No, you need to no. There's always gonna be something to intervene on. But what I'm saying is, a lot of our problems are people not accepting that. Our country is gonna always be evolving. Some different shit. You just gotta accept sometimes, as long as it's not hurting you.
Yeah.
Literally hurting you.
Or anybody else.
You hear me?
Shout out to hair. Who would you like to see on any sort of money? Doesn't matter what.
Monday?
Money. Yes. Whose face would you like to see on like a $10 bill?
I mean,
I might have the answer that you don't even realize you want.
go for it.
Mrs. Crane.
My wife?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's your mama name?
Oh. My mama?
Yeah, your mama. Put your mama on some money.
Here's why. Because when they hate your country, they hate everything about your country.
Oh,
and
shit.
burn your money and
My
shit.
nigga went deep. He went deep. It's real.
Because they burn your flag, they burn your money, and I don't want anybody looking at like my face or somebody I love's face and like fuck you and spitting on it.
Right.
I don't ever like somebody. There should be a symbol for sure that we can be proud of, but also that we can lean on and like stand. And I don't think it should be a person. I think it should be. I think it should just be a symbol that we all agree is different enough from all of us.
And here you go. Now he got my brain going into level up because money is so many times we worship it to a degree that we shouldn't. And it causes so much ill shit. We only use it because we have to due to access.
It's not real.
But it's not real. It's some bullshit.
Cryptocurrency is literally not real.
Dude, but it's used for real. So, dude, you just fucked up my brain with that, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
What profession, other than your own and the myriad of ones that you've already done, would you like to attempt?
Oh, so I can't say anything I've already done?
Yes.
Okay. Professional fighter. If I wasn't an actor, I'd be a professional fighter. I'd be fighting for money.
Which one would you not like to attempt?
Massage therapy. There is very little money in holistic medicine, man. Like, people just don't appreciate that shit the way you want them to.
Right. It seems like the pretty women get most of the freaking gets too in that industry.
This is very true. If I'm walking in, nobody's gonna be. All right, let's get this started.
Your diehards will. You'll find people that's like, no.
He know what he doing.
The one with those pointy elbows.
those MMA ass elbows. Something about them is so sharp.
If my back is not snapping, you're not doing something right.
Right.
If you were reincarnated as some other plant or animal, what would it be?
Wow.
Honey badger.
Why a honey badger?
Motherfuckers have a great time.
What?
They have a great fucking time. They are impervious to venom. Them motherfuckers, I saw a fight with a honey badger where he was killing a cobra while it was just biting him. He killed it and they both collapsed. He woke up 2 hours later and ate it.
Whoa!
This dude has a honey badger like sanctuary.
Yeah.
And he has to keep modifying it because they're so smart they figure out how to get out of it every time he changes something. They're always a step ahead of him.
Honey badger don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
I never thought about honey badger. I didn't know nothing about them. That's interesting as hell.
Oh my god, honey badgers, wolverines, all those animals are terrifying. Nobody fucks with them. There's no predator. The only other predator is honey badgers. They eat each other. They cannibalize.
They fight each other.
Yeah.
You gotta stop this honey badger on honey badger crime out here in nature.
I'm not gonna get in the middle though.
Where are the honey badger leaders? I'm just trying to.
Damn.
It's like this is a honey badger with perm. And my last one: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear at the pearl? What would you like someone to say to you once you reach the pearly gates?
I don't want to say nothing, man. Just give me my keys.
Yeah, man. Straight up. Let me in.
Yeah, if heaven exists, man, thank you. I'm gonna just swipe this. It's good. It's my name, cool, awesome. Let's have some fun.
So before we get you out here, what's some upcoming projects that you can speak on?
Yeah. So recent releases, Heart Baby, which was filmed in New Orleans. Beautiful story. I finally got to see it about 3 or 4 months ago in New York. Beautiful story, true story Angela Davis Shelton directed it.
Awesome.
Of course, Same Kind of Different as Me came out. I can't talk about it yet.
It's always gonna be them.
Yep. And I don't know what it means either. So, but I've done some. So a lot of work last year was stunt work. So I did some stunt work on Lucifer. I did some work on, but it wasn't like dubbing somebody, so you can see me.
Yeah.
But it's just like me getting my ass whooped by Lucifer. So if you want to see that.
People love that. People love that show though. I was
Yeah.
meaning to start it.
Yeah.
People tell me it's like
It's
really
based on
good.
the comic book. Do you know that?
I heard that after the fact. I didn't know that at
I'm gonna
first.
keep this quick, but be aware that comic book adaptations are coming.
Tell them.
Because they're not, Marvel and DC are tip of the iceberg. First off, DC is smart because they just have DC Universe, and their shows are good.
That new Doom Patrol is nice.
Yeah.
Titans hit or miss.
I like
for me.
Titans a lot.
I just didn't like the way it ended. Because you could tell that they left that one episode off, so it felt like, give me that other episode that was supposed to be here.
Yeah. But like Miller's World, Netflix got Miller's World with Mark Miller. Has some really prolific comics. He made Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
And
They just signed him for that. He bought for like a whole bunch of joints.
all
You're
this
right.
shit.
Yeah.
What's the name of the other one? The Kingsman? That
Yep.
was his. But then
Umbrella Academy just dropped.
yeah, Umbrella Academy, but Hulu's doing them, Amazon's doing them. And they're like Preacher is a comic book.
Comic book,
You
I
know,
read it.
There's a lot that aren't superheroes; they're just comic books. So it's just another avenue that's opening up.
We spoke previously on another podcast episode about how this the genius that's happening, that everyone knows Marvel and DC, but now these companies are going to Dark Horse and Vertigo and Image and all these other independent comics, because there's a nothing but material here.
Yeah.
Years of material, and for those independent comics, you don't have this mainstream of people trying to judge you and tell you, don't hire that person. No, we're over here in our little bubble with this comic book property that you never heard of, but it's about to smack you in the face.
Yes. I actually, you know what? I have a thing that I want to do, and like a comic adaptation, like when I grew up reading. Remember Savage Dragon?
Yes, I remember Savage Dragon.
Whoa,
we brought it back.
I would kill that. I met Eric Larson.
Word.
I met him, but this is when I was fat, so I couldn't convince him of that shit. I couldn't say like, yo, see it yet, but give me like 6 months and I'm gonna have this thing popping. Like I couldn't do that, but so now, and that's part of what this whole last year was about, just leveling up. Like I've done some cool stuff, but like the shit that's coming, that's what you need to look for. The shit that hasn't happened yet, the shit that ain't booked or made, because both is happening. Like I felt like I've come down from a mountaintop, and maybe not the one that I initially sought out, but a mountaintop. And I'm about to show off my kung fu and go back up.
And get some more. I love it. Well, tell them where they can find you at, man. Where they can follow you at and all that, to see, man, where all these other mountains that you're going to be bringing forth the truth and the real from.
So at Theodus Crane on everything. At Theodus Crane on Instagram, on Twitter. I probably still got a Vine somewhere. But yeah,
nothing goes away.
Yeah, nothing goes away. Theodus Crane, Theodus Crane. You Google it, you'll find me. Yep. You don't forget anything.
Right. But the thing is, anytime you're in town, I want you to come back through, bro. There's like, I feel like there's so much more we could discuss.
Oh my God. It's
so
my
much
pleasure.
more.
Yeah. I got so much shit I've been obsessing over the past couple years.
Word.
I've got very deep opinions on things that mean nothing to anybody else. So.
Well, will mean something to us and our listeners. Hell yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for coming through, son.
Thank you, bro.
I want to let you go so you can get the Costco, my dude.
God. I still get the fastest, wettest run.
Bro, now it's raining because New Orleans weather.
Yeah, it'll be done in about 5 minutes.
Every day.
Yeah. But it's Mardi Gras, it's supposed to.
It does that.
Yeah.
It does that. It does that.
Also, can I use the bathroom?
I'm going to do your thing. It's the first one on the right.
Alright, I gotta figure out how to get off this couch.
Don't die.
Listen, hold up.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
Squats is deadlifts, big dudes. Squats is deadlifts, man, have saved my life.
So, Arrogant Observer,
You need water?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. You're not the hook, man. You got to give me my black actor shout out for the episode, my dude.
I knew I had to.
Black Actor History Moment.
Black Actor. mystery moment.
This time, we are going to deal with 2 years. The current year, 2019 and 2016. When it deals with 2019, we like to shout out the people the black actors and actresses who won an Oscar this past week.
Yes.
That is Mr. Mahershala Ali, which is the only black actor who has won.
Male.
Only.
Because don't Viola have 2 supporting?
No.
She doesn't have 2 supporting?
Viola. Diction, goddammit. Shout out to Ray. Viola only has 1 for Fences.
Okay.
Viola has 1 for Fences.
2 Emmys.
Yeah, she only has 1 Emmy.
Oh, so I just know she has 2 awards besides the Tonys, and I'm just liking them right now. Okay,
She
gotcha.
has 2 Tonys.
Gotcha.
But Mahershala Ali is the only black person to have 2 Oscars for Best Supporting Actor.
Amazing.
The only other black person who has 2 Oscars is Denzel Washington, and that is 1 for Best Supporting Actor for Glory, and the other one in 2002 for Best Actor for Training Day. Shout out to Regina King.
Love her.
Who won Best Supporting Actor for If Beale Street Could Talk. You need to just watch this movie.
I'm gonna watch it. Bill Street and Bohemian Rhapsody are my next 2 that I got queued up.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been seeing those.
But she's been in the game since 1985 when she was Brenda on
227, baby.
God,
227, baby.
Oh my God! I was watching a repeat, and it was like, I wonder if she knew back then her ass was gonna end up with an Oscar, because she played. She played a lot of character roles, still does. But 2016 is in Tony Awards. That is actually historic because it's the only time in the Tony Awards where every actor in a musical was black.
Boom.
The winners of every actor in a musical was black. Featured actor went to Leslie Odom Jr. for Hamilton. Featured actress went to Cynthia Erivo for Color Purple. That's those 2 are lead actors. Lead actors went to Leslie Odom Jr. for Hamilton. Cynthia Erivo for Color Purple. Featured actor went to Daveed Diggs, who everybody knows for Blind Spotting.
Love it.
For Hamilton. And featured actress was Renee Elise Goldsberry who was Nettie, who was the original Nettie in Color Purple.
Boom.
The original Nettie in the Color Purple musical.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. But all 4 of them won Tonys, and that's the only time all 4 in the actor category were black.
Boom, and that's our black actor shout out from our BlackActorPedia, Lawrence Weber. We about to get up out of here, man. It's that actor guy, Martin Batts Bradford. Hit us up on flywithbats@gmail.com with all your questions, commentaries, and the like. Like, share, subscribe. You can find me at Martin Batts Bradford on Facebook and on IMDb. But on all your other social media platforms at Mr. Batts. Spell that Mr. out or you ain't gonna find me. And for take 2 of the Acting While Black podcast, I'm out of here.
All right, last looks, folks. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. I am Soulboy30. Check me out on Snapchat if you even have it anymore. That's LWeber584. And once again, that's ArrogantObserversRants.blogspot.com, where the cat is in a tutu reading Yellow Man by Dale Orlando Smith.
Boom.
The cat does a lot.
Well, I'm glad.
He's a multitasking cat.
I'm glad he does. He reads plays though. But thank y'all for listening, man. I'm so excited about this show. I'm excited to keep it going, dog. I'm loving where it's going.
People enjoy it.
And that's
I can tell you, Marty enjoys the hell out of it because we just recorded our episode.
Awesome. So yeah, man. Till next round, man. Stay off book. I'm gonna stick it with that, bitch.
There you go.
Stay off book, man.
Stay off book, y'all.
Yeah.
That's the day we gon'